What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Radical Roots podcast, where we dig deep to reach high, and of course, always progress through action. I am your co-host, Payron Baxter,
Co-host Ram Sandoval.
And I'm Ron Kabuna.
and on this day, it is a solemn day that we're going to get into a lot of stuff, but I at least want to address what this means historically, where the President of the United States, who currently is in public housing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Donald Trump, the 1 year anniversary of his day where I think he needed a Superman. His assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, 1 year today. Folks, if you're out there, I hope you are sending your thoughts and prayers to the president. Rom, RC, how did you take today? Did you send your thoughts and prayers? Did you write a letter to Donald John Trump? Please tell me so we can all commemorate together.
I forgot.
Oh,
Uh, Trump let us.
That's a
Trump
good way
let
to
it.
commemorate.
Up until you sent some notes before the show. I don't think we've heard about it ever since it happened last year. Really, which is odd
interesting.
for
Hmm.
Donald, who likes
Hmm.
to, be a tough guy and
Literally.
macho man, and surviving a gunshot wound is one of the most macho things that could actually happen, right? So
Word to 50
Uh,
Cent.
yeah, he got what he got 9 times. So,
Many men.
Hmm.
it happened,
I
right?
so
No, I mean,
this week
go ahead.
there was a lot of hype, and there were a couple resolutions that came forward, from members of the bootlicking Congress saying we have to have a day of remembrance, and we have to call this, whatever, New Awakenings Day. And then, oh my gosh, back home in Youngstown, one of the supposedly responsible news organizations posted something about 1 year on from the assassination attempt. How has Donald Trump changed? And I was waiting
Oh.
for them to go in. Well, he's completely gone off the rails and he's mega maniacal at this point. But they're like, no, it made him have a more reflective tone, and he really feels like he's been saved by God and all that just absolute hot garbage that you heard right after that. But yeah, it's been not really evident in his tweets. He's had a lot of other stuff to talk about, but if I almost got killed, I certainly would mention it a little bit more. So
Yes.
just like Epstein,
Mm.
super fishy.
There you go. But hold on, RC. He definitely put out an all caps tweet saying, or all caps truth, I should say, saying,
Yeah.
stop talking about Epstein. And you keep talking about him. And how dare you? But I do think it is also very interesting that we have not heard the name Thomas Crooks at all, which was the shooter. Most folks, if you're listening or watching, that is the shooter who was in Butler, Pennsylvania, who just like Vance Bolter out of Minnesota, they said he was a leftist. They said he was a blue-haired barista, feminazi,
Nose ring.
trans nose ring wearing, septum pierced leftist. They said that's who he was. Now, in reality, he was a gun aficionado. He was a part of, right-wing chat groups. He was in discourse. He was searching, the Trump promenade, and then immediately after going to ar15.com. And again, to both your points, you would imagine we would hear more about somebody who tried to shoot a president and how he just hit the smallest little nick on his ear, and his ear didn't, explode. In fact, I posted a video about an hour ago on my social media that shows someone recreating the shot
Yeah,
with
with
like
the
a
gel stuff.
yeah, the jelly-like material, and how the whole ear kind of expanded and this whole like amorphous blob situation,
All right,
and
so
like
even if it
that
was
would do it.
shrapnel, right? Like
Hmm.
even if it was not the bullet, but it was something else or a fragment of the bullet,
Right.
like I don't even like to go down this conspiratorial path because I want to
Okay.
stay in the truth and the knowledge.
Oh.
But
Mm.
hey, come on now.
We're
There
talking about
should
Trump
be
here.
something. It's an old man, and like
Yes.
somebody was saying, when my grandpa has a little piece of skin cancer taken off of his head, that stuff does not
He,
regrow and heal over for
look,
weeks.
I'm gonna say this is a fact. He was not shot, and
Whoa,
you can
whoa,
sue me,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
and we could go into discovery because he was not shot. He might have caught it. He was not shot with a bullet. A bullet did not hit his ear.
Wrong.
He might have caught some shrapnel at best. But there's a reason why he didn't go to the hospital.
Because
There's a
God didn't
reason
want it to
why.
happen.
There's a
That's the
reason
reason
why they
why.
had, his White House doctor put out a notice because it just didn't happen. And in regards to, that's where my conspiracy theory ends. And I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. Beyond that, whether it was staged and all that, I think that's up for debate. However, I think he seized the moment at the very least. So
Yeah,
he
I
just I
think.
mean he put a bandage on his ear for what, and then he had a bandage. It was gone in like what 2 or 3 days, and his ear
Well,
looked perfect.
look, listen. When I get shot, I absolutely wear a bandage for a couple of days and take it off. You guys are
Well,
you guys are some
GT.
Thought
This
you
idiots.
is
were
not
going to say
GTA.
you
This is not
commemorate
GTA.
the holiday.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta take one of those like health potions in a video game. And you're back to normal. That's exactly what he did. But his eardrum wasn't blown out. And on top of that, again, God did not want Trump to die. He killed the firefighter, saved the pedo. Again, going back to the Epstein list. So that's the type of God MAGA prays to, is someone that kills the firefighter, saves the pedo. But again, I'd expect. I saw a clip from this morning. I think it was on CBS Sunday shows, and it was about the kid. What's his name again? I just said his name a couple seconds
Thomas
ago.
Matthew Brooks.
Thomas Crooks.
Crooks. Oh yeah, Crooks.
Thomas Crooks. And they were going in on like, it's Ron, we talked about this before, like the guy that shot the cop here in Union County, and they were like, he's a good kid. He loved to play tic-tac-toe. He learned to tie his shoes at 2 years old and like all this, and he learned how to jump rope backwards, and he rode a unicycle and juggled with one hand, all this stuff about Thomas Crooks. And they talked to like his sweet fifth grade teacher or something like that. And she's sitting there with tears in her eyes and like, Thomas, I never expected Thomas.
no,
I
his
I mean, I
were
expected
spot
Jeffrey.
on back then.
I expected Jeffrey. I didn't expect Thomas. And he used to sit there and do his crossword puzzles, and he would always help me and raise his hand. And then like they went to like his friend from high school who was like, I seen him last time I was in high school, and he had short hair and he looked totally different because when I saw him in those pictures on the day of, he had long hair. And I'm like, okay, motherfucker, I had short hair a few years ago. Now I got long hair. Like, that's not a reason to say someone shouldn't kill somebody or someone didn't kill somebody. And I go back to the consistent infantilization of white terror in this country to
Well,
normalize it, to say that's okay. They're lone wolves.
they certainly would have framed it completely differently if he would have had verifiable or bona fide leftist path, right?
Oh, no question.
Yeah, that would have been a completely different profile.
Hmm.
Speaking
They'd have
of
been
profile,
they'd have been like this guy, and to the point of Crooks and Vance Bolter and David DePape, the guy who hit Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer, Paul Pelosi. These people just fall out of the news cycle like they never existed. And that should scare all of us because, as the beginning of the last episode we played, what was one of the steps that Stacey Abrams said was the normalization of or the sanctioning of personal violence and
stochastic terrorism,
stochastic terrorism. That's right. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And the media is complicit in that.
right? Like how much run does each story get? How much platforming does
Well,
each story get in the echo chambers?
yeah. I mean, I don't think I've heard of a shooter's name less than this particular instance. It's just the oddest thing for Trump, like the whole like the lack of coverage, the lack of him, narcissistically mentioning this every chance he gets.
Right.
Um, it doesn't add up. So, you know,
And,
Yeah.
and yeah, that would be the bravest thing that he ever did in his entire life was survive that 1 second right there.
That was
So
it.
he should be able to speak about it ad nauseum for the rest of eternity, but he doesn't.
yeah, it's just the
I
weirdest
mean,
thing. The weirdest thing are who pops up, like you don't know what the threat is, you don't know what just happened, but you just pop up. Your first instinct is to pop up and throw up your fist,
and
and
say fight, fight, fight.
like, come on.
And
What?
the secret service person below you is kind of like doing a smile.
Well,
Yeah,
he's like
whatever's
his
going
like
on
he's
there.
like his head Secret Service guy now, right? So, yeah, like I said, I will play with conspiracy theories in this instance, but I try not to peddle them too much. But
Well, I mean,
Those
you don't have
things.
to. I mean, the thing is, there are conspiracies. That's Sarah Kinzinger had a book called uh, they knew this would happen, and like actually that's the wrong title, but like it's like they knew this. It's like they knew this. I read it a few years ago. She's good friends with Jerry X. Sexton, ironically. And but she talks about like how there are conspiracy. Like we on the left have to kind of get out of this idea that like if it's a conspiracy theory that it's inherently wrong or it's inherently like it lacks merit and therefore we should dispose of it. Like for and a good example of this more recently. This is before this even. This is after the book came out, but it was probably 2025. Right? That's a conspiracy. And our theory before it ever got enacted was that we were theorizing how they would go about it. They would use the media, they would go after academics. Yes, and we didn't know like which way it was going to happen, but they conspired, right? People within the Heritage Foundation and these other right-wing think tanks and other right-wing politicians, they did conspire. And then we had to take that information and theorize how that would have been applied to the American
Well,
government. And then sometimes, but sometimes when we hear the word conspiracy theory, we're like, that's not us, that's not me. It's like, no, there's real conspiracies out there.
yeah. Well, Project 2025 was pretty much like put it right out there. It wasn't really.
That was the roadmap.
Yeah, that was a blueprint,
But like conspiracy doesn't mean
yeah,
that like it's hidden.
I know what you
You know,
mean.
I think that's why we have to separate those two. Like, oh, conspiracy therefore it just means that people are just working together, right? That's all, like without us, right? That's all I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
when we have Democratic Party meetings, we're conspiring to
yeah,
knock doors. We're conspiring to get the vote out. We're
yeah.
conspiring to
Well,
educate voters.
you got like people like Ronnie Jackson, the Trump's doctor who served in
Candyman.
for Barack Obama, President Barack Obama. You got
Oh yeah,
Dan Bongino, who also was in the Secret
Bogino. He's
Service
French.
under Barack Obama, and so these are people who were in the orbit, right? But they've found a way into uh, Trump's orbits, and really will say anything, right? For this, like Ronnie Jackson has gone off the deep end.
Mr. 225 pounds himself, right?
I mean, the man is 7'2", 188 pounds. He can bench press
Soaking wet.
315.
Yeah.
He can bench press 315 15 times with
the,
one hand.
the
Y'all,
healthiest
And he'll make
president, he's ever seen. He said something like
healthiest
that.
president. I mean, if I pour liquid butter down his abdomen, I would lick those kernels of I'm telling you of corn off that man. That man
Don't
is
forget, he will make
delicious.
Arnold Palmer blush in the locker room.
Yeah, but
Again,
I will. It's just the whole thing in general just doesn't add up. The fact that the people were warning about this kid, he's on the rooftop, and
Oh man,
the delays and everything. I mean, what were they giving him the benefit of the doubt? I mean, just the whole investigate,
yes,
like
yes,
they just saw like, oh, it's just a white boy with a gun,
yeah.
like that's normal as shit. He's on top
Like
of the roof.
that's kind of normal here. We like this, right? Like this is
Like,
our he's
and
our
then
ilk.
everyone else is like, well, if we had our guns there, and then it's like, okay, well then, like, how would you tell who's who? And then again, this whole thing just nothing really adds up about it. But I'll tell you, the most damning thing to me is Trump just being quiet and mum about it. So to that
It's
alone,
weird.
he has a lot of tells. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
the other one this week was Epstein,
Epstein. Man,
and
your pronunciation's all over the place today.
my pronunciations are always all over the place. They always will be. My wife,
Okay,
my
good.
wife was like, why do you say it like that?" I'm like, "Look, I'm from Chicago. That's how we say."
Okay.
I don't know if that's why, but that's what I say.
Well, but before we get into that though,
I never heard of it.
Ram and RC, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all have any friend killing like grammar Nazi things? That like if you say, you know, Kroger's or Walmart's, you put like as black folks, we like to put S on shit.
Yeah,
I put the
it's
S
in
on,
Chicago. We say
and I do
Jules. We say Jules because there's a
the Jewel
grocery chain.
Osco.
Yeah, it's called Jewel Osco, but we say Jules.
Oh, okay.
And my wife is like, it's Jewel, or like my say like mines, it's mines, and which I know, like I
Mine.
know.
Oh, that's a bad one. Mine's mine and mine.
And
Oh,
my youngest says it, and I'm like, I want to dap her up, but then like I know, like nah. But
Can't send her. Like
I was like,
RC. Do you get any?
honestly, like I've just been trying to do better between good and well, so that I can give a solid foundation for my daughter. Other
Yes.
than that, I do so the Facebook, so it's the and then pluralized for a lot of things.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
say
like a
Okay.
real old man.
I say Craigslist, and everyone the ways people I say Craigslist, I guess is wrong. So like
I
whatever.
didn't. I don't get that one. You said to before, like, isn't it not Craigslist? Like, is it
Craigslist,
Craigslist?
Craigslist. Craigslist. I don't know.
Oh, you don't have a T in it. Is that what you're saying? Like
Craigslist.
Craigslist?
No, they say it like I say it like a question or something.
I still don't hear it. Like, and now if you didn't have a T in it, like it's less Craig, like Craigslist. Man,
Right.
you out here being Craigslist. You
Craigslist.
know,
Also,
Craigslist.
Craigslist isn't coming up in conversation as much anymore, so you're probably all right. You're going to dodge
that's
that
true.
bullet.
For me, unless you're from like South Carolina and you say scrimps or screet, like you gotta be from South Carolina specifically to be like, oh man, what's
No, we
up
do
the
say
street?
scrim in this house. That's what we refer to him as. I'm sorry.
But I'm sure you do it like in a satirical way. You're not like earnestly like, man, where'd you put the scrimps? We got the hot dogs
Absolutely
burger.
not.
We ain't got the scrimps. I'm like, wait, hold on.
It's a
Are you
very serious way that
are
I
you
say.
serious? You haven't said saying scrimps at this barbecue? So anyway, but yes, as we're talking about bumbling people who cannot get the words together, I think the mode of the day is for Donald Trump. And if you guys cannot see if you're watching on YouTube, I am wearing my Kal-El shirt, Superman shirt, and the right wing has been melting down over the new James Gunn Superman movie. I went to go see it today with my son. We had matching shirts. His shirt was too big, like he was wearing a dress. But you know what? We are gender inclusive here, so he did not mind. And the right wing is not accepting the new James Gunn movie. Of course, they're saying we need to boycott. We even got Dean Cain of previous Superman fame, saying that this movie is woke and Superman was never woke, even though Superman is literally a immigrant refugee from another planet to
Oh.
save, to do good here, and he's working two jobs and being shitted on. And
Wait,
so
I thought the movie was starring Donald Trump. I got the wrong.
right. Oh, so
I got the wrong one.
if you're listening, Rom he has just posted, like, leave it up. Rom has just posted the official White House. Was it Twitter or no? Was this Instagram?
It's Twitter. I don't know
X.
Twitter.
I see
It's
the little
Twitter. I
rock
think it's
rock
Twitter. Yeah,
logo.
X.
So X X10 so we have the literal post where is Donald Trump dressed but it was beautiful with corn sweat and it looks so cool. But now we have Donald Trump's jowls atop of this body. And I think they almost tried to balloon out the stomach a little bit, like, well, he wouldn't be super fit. Let's give him a little bit of a pudge. But guys, after seeing the movie today, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but James Gunn did not pull any punches politically, and then of course the
There
promo
it is.
for our show here, which has
Woo.
the classic Superman in the foreground, in the background we have a Paul Revere mixed up Trump,
Kron.
and then
The
an old
biscuits are coming. The biscuits are coming.
yes, and then like an old dirty bastard slash Payron mashup, in Red Man. I get that I look like Red Man a lot. I get that a lot. I don't get that, not a lot, but I've got that when I was like in high school. They're like, you like Red Man? I'm like,
He's a cool dude.
that's not a great. That's a personality trait, not a physical trait. RC.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude.
but going back to the photo of Trump, I think this really shows where the right wing and their psyche is at this moment as we're talking about the cultural moment. One thing about fascists, what they try to do is they try to use the power of the state to control culture. Now, as we all know, culture is not something that you can really, shape with policy. It comes organically. It comes from how we speak to one another, how we see one another, how we, what our values are, our shared connectivity, and slapping on the the melting face of a Donald Trump onto Superman is just one, a historical and a comic book historical, because again, he was an immigrant, an alien, an illegal alien, and they get into that word a lot in the movie, ironically, an illegal alien who's working two jobs and is fighting against a billionaire, because in reality, the right wing, their whole identity has honestly been shaped in the idea of Lex Luthor. But when they look in the mirror, they see Superman for some reason. I think probably because he reads white, but it
Mhm.
doesn't make
But
it doesn't make sense. Go ahead, RC.
he is a character who was created by two Jewish kids from
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think at the time that they were doing it, it was like the 1930s or something to that effect. And I was
Mm.
just sharing with you that I was listening to Superman versus the KKK, which is an
Ah, yes.
actual old radio show, and it was over there at the Jim Crow archives. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic listen because everything's in there. They're like, well, Timmy, this guy just doesn't like our way of life, and he looks at people who are different from them as less than.
Hmm.
It was just like right and super overt, and like that's not what you do because that's being a real piece.
But it's so wild because it's like, what do they expect Superman to do? They expect him to be like, okay, guys, I just left the Daily Planet. I just took my glasses off. I caught this guy outside of the immigration office, and he was about to, after 10 years of having a bunch of paperwork, I caught him before he signed the final piece of paper. Let me make sure that I bring him down to Alligator Alcatraz. And like, do they expect him to be on the side of like the covered ICE agents? Is that what they
Yes,
expect?
yes, yes. They want him to
It
be
doesn't make any sense.
I
in
just
his
apprehended
own.
Alfonso before he picked another head of lettuce. Thank
Right.
you.
Yes.
I mean, they
Yes.
they
Like
think the same thing about was it the Punisher, right? Like the
again,
Punisher
happening
is like
backwards
Oh
again,
man.
again,
Oh,
again,
where's
backwards again.
backwards and they'll
Yes.
put like you'll see the same guys with like Punisher all over their truck,
They'll have
like
the
that
Punisher, but
banner
like
is on the truck.
with
they'll
the
have the Punisher
blue thin blue
with
line.
thin blue line. Like, dude, the Punisher kills cops, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what he does. But like, yeah, and I saw this tweet earlier, and I'm like, before we recorded, and I thought it really encapsulated on one Superman that Superman is really a firefighter. He is not a police officer. And I thought that really encapsulates the character, and they get into it really well in this movie. The Superman isn't necessarily he doesn't care about the legality of what laws. Yeah, granted, if there was a President Trump, he wouldn't care that the law says that we have to pick up immigrants. His goal, like a fighter, is to just protect people.
Truth,
So
justice,
they're
the American way.
right, and ironically, they stopped writing that in a lot of the comic books. It's truth, just in a better future or a better tomorrow. But this idea that it's not about the legality of what we are doing. It's more or less that he sees a problem. And they do get into the Israel-Palestine issue, and it's quite apparent. Some people are like, oh, it could be Russia-Ukraine. It's really hard to read anything besides Israel, Palestine, and Benjamin Netanyahu. And yes, there's an aspect that they're like, oh, this was in the movie before October 7th. And I commented and I said, we've been so indoctrinated and propagandized. This, the Palestinians have been occupied for 77 years, and we have normalized a Western backed superior advanced military force encroaching on land of people with rocks and baseball bats and homemade missile not even missiles but just rockets that
Hmm.
are that use fertilizer instead of actual missiles dropped by Israelis. And it is quite apparent in the final scene of that. Is I'm not going to give anything away, is so cool how they handle that, and how they just, and like, I teared up as someone who's very pro-Palestinian, because I said I'll turn to my son, because we've been to countless protests, and I said I just wish the Palestinians had a Superman. I just wish
Hmm.
I wish they could have that. And it wasn't even like some brutal violence, because you guys can understand this is an extremely milk toast Superman
Family
compared to like
friendly.
the Zack Snyder kind of brooding Batman versus. It's not that. It's like all the comedies there. It is enjoyable. If you're not into comic books, you will enjoy this movie. And then they get into the political realms of like a political body that is ultimately beholden to billionaires. So again, my 10-year-old son saying, "Hey, is that Elon Musk? Is it Lex Luthor?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, it's very easily read for the moment, and I think James Gunn puts it in your face to say that again, allowing legality to be the standard bearer for how we move forward is the wrong way to move. Because slavery was legal, Jim Crow was legal, the Holocaust was legal. None of that was moral, and he has to get into an argument with Lois Lane. Again, no spoilers, where she's kind of talking about like, well, is that legal? And did you do it right? We're kind of fumbling. He's like, look, I want to save lives. And sometimes making it so simple like that is the easy way to cut through all this. Because I remember there was a conversation with Ta-Nehisi Coates last year, where I think when he had that interview with CBS in the morning, I forget the guy. His name was like Paul Ducaloop or something. I forget his name.
Oh
And
yeah,
he was like,
That man, that's a good one.
what I'm talking about, that clip where he's like pressing Ta-Nehisi Coates on like, if I'd have read this
yeah.
book, this
CBS,
book would have been.
CBS News, yeah, or
See,
CBS Morning,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, this book would have been in the backpack of an extremist. And at the end of that interview, Ta-Nehisi Coates says something again where he just kind of crystallizes it and puts it in such a concise, where he says, apartheid is wrong. Occupation is wrong. Genocide is wrong. There's nothing you can tell. There's no moral, rhetorical, linguistic judo we need to do. I just know apartheid is wrong. And that's what Superman does in that movie, where he's like, again, I just want to save lives. I don't care about, well, you don't know the geopolitical tensions. And that's something I think we need to get. And I think that's what our show does. It cuts right through that, because folks like Lex Luthor, the Elon Musk, the Donald Trumps, and I forget his name. His last name is Holt, I believe. But he really does a great job, is I think splitting the archetype of a Donald Trump and a Elon Musk,
Mm.
because he is a billionaire who is selling weapons to the quote unquote Israelis or the Baravians, and he's trying to lobby the government to do more of that. And that
Mhm.
sounds very similar to Starlink. It sounds very similar to all the Raytheons and all these people, and national security threats. And this is why we have to kill these people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it really poses to the viewer a moral question of who we are in this moment. And we're sitting here watching these on these black mirrors in our pockets, and we're just doom scrolling. But in the reality, we all can have that hope. And if the S represents hope, it can represent the change that we need to change in the world within ourselves.
yeah. Well, art imitates life, right? Um,
This is a one for
I
one.
feel like I got something on my shirt here. I'm like, yeah.
And shout out to the guy that plays Mr. Terrific. Because
But
I didn't know too much, I didn't know too much about that character, but he's a black guy and he has like this whole like swagger about him. Like, that's just fucking cool
well,
as shit.
I'm sold. I'm done. I'm gonna check it out.
Please do.
I'm not a huge like comic book movie goer, but
Mhm.
you're not either, RC.
No, no, I don't do any of them unless they reach that critical mass point. Like I've
Oh
seen
wow.
the two Iron Mans, I've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy, I've seen a Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? Like
I
a
haven't seen
Yeah,
none
Wolverine
yeah.
of
was there. So like I grew up on comic books, but then I did tend to leave those childish things behind just because I stopped gaming. I stopped doing all that stuff, but they've
Right.
woven so much big themes and archetypes into them that I can understand. I understand the appeal,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I try not to lean towards recreational sadness either, but
Hmm.
somewhere in between there is where I end up falling.
And I think it's almost like the political understandings that are in the show The Boys. I don't know if you guys
Mm.
have watched that or heard about that
Hmm.
show,
I watched. I
but
watched.
you watched The
I've
Boys, or at
watched
least a little bit.
first couple seasons.
Yeah, so the right kind of liked the boys in the beginning, but they didn't realize the whole time the boys was like poking fingers, like
All of
you're
these shows,
Homelander,
all
like
these
you guys are
shows.
not, like they think that they're Superman, but in reality they're fucking Homelander. Like, dude, you're Homelander. You are not Superman. You are the crazy genocide. If you had that power, you would not save people like Superman. You would kill people like Homelander. And I think the most recent
Mm-hmm.
season they had to address that in the most clear way, like this is a bad guy. He's with the Nazis, and then
It's
now look,
amazing how much
see Trump with the Nazis.
art and storytelling can go over their heads. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
This is who they are. This is who they are. So yeah, I just again, Superman is a firefighter, not a policeman, and I think we need to remind ourselves that like if you just have a moral line, you can root yourself in that. And I think in our political world, we see people who are trying to take that moral stance that it doesn't matter what the polls say. And we go back to Zoran Mamdani, who is scaring the Democratic establishment right now, saying, "Hey, look, I'm not saying that I'm the best politician, but I know talking to people." They want their rent frozen. They don't want to have high prices for groceries. They want to have a affordable child care. I mean, simple things. They want to have free buses. Now, will he get all that stuff done? And again, probably not. But damn it, if he works for it, we can believe in that. That's hope, and that's what
Same
the right
color scheme as
response.
Superman. If we want to bring up any of his posters, he's got the red, blue,
Yeah,
and yellow, just like
good point.
old Superman.
That's
Yeah,
true.
maybe he got
That's
from
true.
there.
So yeah, I just want to just touch on that as someone who watched it, and folks who haven't seen it. Just again, just even as political sickos as the three of us are on this podcast, you will see all the political undertones or overtones, not even undertones at this point. But yeah, I didn't want to go on that long tirade, but yeah, good flick. It deserves all the accolades it's getting right now.
But Rom, to your point, I think that you really just can't have any kind of ambiguity in the metaphors because then it is lost on them. You literally
Hmm.
have to hit them over the head with the message and not give them any out in the story,
Hmm.
or else they'll take it and be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't see that." Or on the other hand,
When did Superman become so woke? When did
when
Star
when did,
Wars?
when did he stop being woke? I think is the question.
When
What are you
when
What are you reading?
when did Lord of the Rings get woke? What do you
it's like, well, now they got
like?
somebody. Now there's somebody there telling them, like, "Hey guys, like, you look how this is a woke character."
Yeah, pretty much. He's over
They're
there
like,
Before
"Ah,
saving
shit, get it off me, get it off."
he's saving people's lives like a woker.
before social media and before everything had to be
Yeah,
labeled.
you're allowed to indulge in that without being bludgeoned by your kin.
when was Rage Against the Machine woke?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're the machine.
Yeah.
So anyway,
All of these. Yeah, it's crazy. So what
so
else
what
we
else we
got
got?
tonight? Well, let's see. The Epstein files have been.
Epstein,
We talked
mag is
about
melting
that on.
down.
We talked about that on. What was it? Well, so like last Sunday while we were
Uh,
on. So here's the
well, it's
thing.
Thursday. Yeah.
What I was trying to. I was trying to. I meant to look this up before the show, but like, so
Hmm.
when we were doing the show, they released. They said that there was nothing.
Nothing.
But who
Nope.
put that out
Except
there?
for
Because
murder.
no one was anyone even saying anything about it? I mean, like all this, it just came out of nowhere, or like
Yeah, Bondi came up and was like, so by the way, we got nothing. All right. I know we said we had a little bit. I was mistaken.
so they felt like they had to like
Oopsie.
closure. But that was this this isn't Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker pounding away and saying what's up with the Epstein files. This isn't Colbert and the Daily Show saying what's up with the Epstein files. This is like MAGA, right? So even besides that, like no one asked Pam Bondi to bring it up. So they kind of brought it back out there, and Trump's asking, 2 days later, why is everybody bringing it up?
I
The
think it's
person
funny
sitting
how
next to you just put out a statement saying that there's nothing there, and you were
It
the
could be
one on
the
the campaign
hole in
trail.
history.
Because yeah, I mean,
I think it's funny that Pam Bondi's taking all the heat, like as if she's not under the direction of Donald Trump. Like, well, they're like, oh, Pam Bondi, and like she's not going to go anywhere. That's the thing that all of these MAGA folks realize. Like, you've been played a game. He said that he was going to release his tax returns, never did. He says he's going to release his health records, never did. He says he's going to release the Epstein files, never will. Like, you've been played again, 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 again. Infrastructure week. Remember that the first term?
Mm.
Every 2 weeks was infrastructure goddamn week. There was no infrastructure week until we
But
got Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
intrinsic to their identity and to their cause as the pedophilia and the deep state
Mm,
conspiracy.
yes.
That hits to the heart and the core of everything that they hold dear, right? And you have Laura Ingraham getting booed at CPAC because she's like,
Yes.
"Oh, what do you think, guys? How do you
Do we
think
have
you
that
did on
clip?
that?"
Do you have that clip? Or no? I don't know if you have that. Do you have the clip, Ron?
of,
Of Laura Ingraham as
no, I
CPAC?
haven't heard about this, so I'm gonna pull it up then.
Oh man, she's
It
sitting
was nuts.
there. Yeah, but yeah, to your point, RC, these folks they don't know what to do, and that's what before we play the clip, I do want to comment on just how the right even views pedophilia. One,
Mm.
we know consistently month after month the people that show up on the sexual assaulter list are always not all but overwhelming majority right wing, usually Christian evangelical white men predominantly.
Yeah,
You might see a brown or
absolutely.
black space, not trying to make it racial comment, a brown or
No,
a black. Hey, hey, hey,
yo,
hey,
pew, pew,
folks.
pew, pew.
I
Hey,
meant like a speck, but speck came out,
Sure,
and I am not trying to be racist. And
Dr. Spachemin.
oh,
thank you,
you've been
Leo
I gotta
Yeah.
Spaceman.
cancel.
Thank
I
you.
gotta cancel. Hey,
No,
but
Leo's, but no. Before I was gonna say, yeah, you guys got me off my center. But these people, they actually don't care about the victims. They never
Mm-mm.
have, right? I think there is
well, no,
this
they don't.
almost,
Rage,
yes.
the outrage. That's what they want.
You gotta have
There's also,
you gotta have God's baby. You gotta have the baby that a rapist put in to impregnated a 14 an underage child with,
but even if they're
because
not pregnant, like
yeah, I
just
know.
I'm
I'm
talking
just
about
saying, but
just
that's just an example
yeah.
of like they don't care about the actual person. Like they'll put a 11-year-old through hell.
Yeah.
Damn right.
But I think it's just, but so again, they don't care about the victims, but it's just that they like the salaciousness of it. They like the
Mm-hmm.
titillation of, oh, who's sticking what where and who's the grossest, and but it's like, dude, it's always y'all overwhelmingly. And does that mean Democrats don't have weirdos? Absolutely, they have weirdos. There's weird people in power. There are weird people who are not in power. There are weird people in families and churches and
Hmm.
in workplaces, right? But like, they don't care about changing the consequences for those people with legislation.
I
They
was just
only care
say,
about the salaciousness.
in a normal world, a politician would ride a policy issue to power and not some kind of
Yes.
crazy sex thing, right? Like that.
Yeah.
What the hell does that have to do with anything, man? Like we're trying to get bridges fixed.
Right.
Like, and like, and we're not proposing that the Democrats are secretly going out and crumbling him every night as some kind of conspiracy. That doesn't work.
Are you
You know,
sure?
I did with the one. That's it.
They have that DEI gun that just crumbles bridges.
Space lasers with the Jews.
Yeah, see, there we go. There we go. That's what they're doing.
But
So
they
I-
would love to be able to go to a Rocket Pizza over this. It's just that the Rocket Pizza happens to be in the basement of 1600.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, but do you have the clip of Laura Ingle?
I do.
Let's check this out.
Think about what he's done
I don't actually know if
just
this is the right
at
clip.
the Supreme Court.
It's just where she gets booed.
His nominees, most recently, of course,
Is this the
I
right
don't
clip?
know.
he retains
I
the
don't- I don't
authority,
think-
which we all knew he had, to cut government waste.
Well, you know what? Beyond this, we did talk about this one today. Anyway, she gets booed. But let's talk about a more interesting clip. If that should be in our DMs. Sass talking to Christopher Cuomo.
Oh my gosh.
So his name's been bandied about. If you guys don't know who Sass is, that's Stephen A. Smith. He is a sports pundit who talks very, very loudly. He went to Salem State. He's a Q. So for all of our panhandle black folks out there, he is one of those members. But he's a New Yorker, and
he's got real staccato to his voice.
And he says that if folks was talking about Trump to run, they're talking about Stephen A. Smith to run. And this is where we have we have to kind of take a pause and look at where we are culturally, that we get here because we have such an investment in people who do not know anything, but can control a camera. They can control a narrative. They can control eyeballs. We are in an attention economy. And Stephen A. Smith, I don't know. I think he might have incriminated himself, I feel like, after hearing this, but let's hear this clip here.
No matter what you may think about him, if you are on the right, you could not ask for better than what he has done, because what he has done is what they have said they wanted and have been trying to get done for years. And even they admit that he's doing their bidding, yet they're in an uproar because the Department of Justice said there's no client list and the Epstein file case is closed. Really? I mean, I'm wondering I got to talk to Steve Bannon. I got to talk to him. I got to talk to some of these people, the Tucker Carlsons of the world and everybody going crazy over the Epstein client list. That's what you're concerned about? I mean, you've got such a hard on for the president that you are losing your mind with all the things. Again, if you are a member of the right, you're a centrist, you're a leftist, you can't be too happy with what he's doing. But on the right, you have the audacity to look at this man like he's I don't want to be facetious, but you're treating him like he's the Antichrist right now because of the Epstein list. That's what you're mad about? I do find myself a bit shocked by that. I'm like, damn, I expected folks on the right to have a lot better things to complain about than that. But they really, I don't even want to bring up his name, but you know who it was that was crying on his podcast, a few days ago because the Epstein list wasn't released.
Yeah. So
Stephen A. Smith with another nuanced and educated take again in politics.
This is what he's supposed to be, the next Democratic
president,
independent. What is he?
No, Democratic presidential candidate.
Edgy.
He gets it, man.
You said think they would have something else to worry about. Come on, that he got nothing. But like
him saying,
you talking about the darkest billionaires on earth. Committing one of the worst crimes on earth, right? Like
I just love the way he says the Epstein list. It's very similar to when Trump was like, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein? Are we still doing that? And he's now parroting what Trump is doing. And I'm like, who is this for?
He's giving you the AI impression. Practice? We talk about
practice. Yes. Have you guys seen that clip of this is kind of a deeper cut, but it's from a couple years ago. But it's with Jim Downey on Conan O'Brien talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Ron, you got to pull this up. It's all in the same vein because I'm sure y'all heard Jim Downey speaking with Conan O'Brien.
But so what was, I think you might have shared one of the clips into the group chat about the right wing guy who was basically saying, after all this, you're going to let Menace doing what we have going. He's like, yeah, I'm going to finally turn my back on Donald Trump over this. Like, I can't believe you would do that. Like, after
Right.
all we've built, you're going to let this little thing
This little
ruin
pedophilia.
everything.
You're
Okay.
gonna let a little
The
little
pedophilia ring over decades, and
Come
also
on.
a cover up that includes millions of dollars probably in bribes and who else knows what, that spans the globe. And yeah, we would ruin it all.
Yeah, we talked about this Thursday. It's not just Trump, right? We talked about potentially Israel's involvement, Benjamin Netanyahu, in terms of like, and it's not just like, I'm not saying that Netanyahu is on the island, but it's all all of this power structure.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like, all these connections and all these people, trust, like.
I'll say this. I mean, the Mossad is very well known for setting up honey traps. Kash Patel's girlfriend, they believe he's in a honey trap with an Israeli agent. So I mean, this is not new, one, and we need to stop acting like it's off limits because there's a well documented history of them setting up honey traps for political leaders. So it's not crazy.
Falling into it too.
And Epstein himself was probably an Israeli agent. I mean, we gotta be honest about that. Like, I mean, it is what it is. There's connection, right? There's connections. I mean, it's not crazy. Again, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but yet again, like, there's too much dip on the chip. But no, but but him saying that reminded me of the Jim Downing quote, because he just. Is this to the Epstein part? Because this shit is so funny.
It should be. It should be. If it's not,
okay.
There are many figures in our society who contribute an enormous amount to our culture, and people who have unconventional personal lives, and yet they seem exempt from criticism. Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No, let me finish. Jeffrey Epstein.
I see it.
No one, criticizes him, and yet.
Oh, wait a minute.
That is a double standard.
Jim,
it's wrong.
Jim,
And
hold
it's
on.
okay.
Hold on. Much has been said about Jeffrey Epstein. Terrible things.
No, Jeff. I'm talking about Jeff Epstein, the New York financier.
Yes, we're talking about the same Jeff Epstein.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I never heard.
Oh, it was a big story in the news. Huge.
No.
Yes, for you to say no one ever
Jeff
said.
Epstein.
Yes.
Jeff Epstein.
Yes, the financier.
The island.
Yes, he had an island that I've never been to. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, with respect, if there was some news about Jeff Epstein, I would have heard.
No, I don't know what rock you've been under. It was a huge story, and Jeff Epstein I have to tell you, he's gone. He's dead.
What do you mean?
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Sorry, nice try. If Jeff Epstein were deceased, I'm pretty sure I would know about it. Now, I admit I've not. Probably since the pandemic, I have not talked to him.
That would make sense. That would make sense. He's been dead for a number of years, Jim.
I'll tell you, there's one easy way. Let's call Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, we're not calling Ghislaine Maxwell.
Why not? Okay.
She's in prison. She's imprisoned for crimes she committed with Jeff Epstein.
Ghislaine's in prison.
Yes, stop calling her Ghislaine. How do you know these people? Jim.
Conan.
Jim.
All right.
Jim, listen.
Okay.
Listen
I'm just saying, I'm your friend. You know what?
That's the clip.
It doesn't matter what you do in your private or personal.
Don't do anything in my private life.
The same Jeff Epstein? The New York financier. No way. It just gave me that the Stephen A. Smith gave me that sort of energy. Like, Jeff, really? We're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, come on.
Yeah,
guys.
don't you know some people just have odd things that go on in the home?
Come on.
So these people are so incompetent with their cover-ups that they release a video. Probably Kash Patel. I got the video, and then they cut out 1 minute. They leave the time on there, and it's like 1 minute missing, just mysteriously gone. And so you know,
Rom, you know that happens
this is the
with
thing
all
about
the older, you know, it happens, and every minute, every hour that happens, and that's why we're investigating specifically that. We should have known that before you asked that question, but we didn't know that, and now we're going to investigate it now that you brought that up as a reporter, so that's why we're doing that.
yeah. So these
And
are
some
these
like,
are incompetent. Like I mean, they're incompetent both ways, right? They're incompetent when they're trying to do their job, and they're incompetent when they're trying to be nefarious too. So
apparently a sloppy cover up, because that one lady was talking about how, oh, we can tell that it was definitely exported to Adobe Premiere,
yeah,
and we
Yeah,
could
two
tell that it was
videos.
spliced to clips, and
and
it was re-uploaded and exported as a different file. It's like, dude,
no, really,
oh my god,
you can
a
do
high
that?
schooler could have figured that out.
Look, I have no technical skills, and I feel like I knew that without even watching the clip. I'm like, this shit, there's no way I'm believing this shit off rip. Like, there's no way I'm like, okay, well, Trump administration said this is it. Bunch of Jeffrey Epstein, I shall go to bed with no questions. No way. No way.
What could have possibly happened in the course of 1 minute, dude? That's not that long of a time. You can't even sneeze.
I mean, maybe you could shoot somebody in the span of 1 minute. I mean, I know he wasn't shot, but like you could. I mean, a strong man like yourself, RC, could choke me to death in 1 minute if you want to have a very intense 60 seconds. You
That's
can
right.
yeah,
If
you
I
can get after it.
want to,
Yeah, I mean,
man.
I think both of y'all could take me. I mean, you
No,
guys
I don't think so, man. Dude, you live in the gym or something.
you guys are very
Angry.
barrels chested men,
I
strong.
am barrel bellied,
Well,
and
I mean, hey.
you got the wrong man.
I'm just saying. So in that 1 minute, Epstein, you know, with the same minute when the cameras went down, the same minute that the guards fell asleep, the same minute, he was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Now, now,
Yeah, hey, this
right
and
now.
you know he was. This was during Trump's first term when he
Oh yeah,
unalived himself, and you know, even
yeah.
then it was suspicious. Then, and look again, look.
No conspiracy theories. We need to have a drop for that. Like, no conspiracy theories. We need to get that soundboard going. We need to get that soundboard going.
Would you see what MAGA? I mean, the entire MAGA nation is pretty much like they don't believe any of
But
it.
they're revolting, man. So we got videos of folks burning hats. We got folks that saying, you know, I'm done with Trump after all. I mean, first of all, you've seen him through a whole first administration. You've seen him stoke fear, division, and hatred for 4 years during the Joe Biden administration. And now 6 months in to his second term with 3.5 years left, you're like, you know what? No more.
One of
Like,
their
dude, fuck
defenses
you.
was, you know what? If this was actually real and it was sitting at the FBI the whole time, then why didn't the Biden administration have the October surprise so that he could keep Donald Trump from being in the White House again? And then one simple explanation is you had the same FBI
director, Chris
because
Wray.
Joe Biden isn't a total partisan. And he said, you're not doing bad enough of a job to be taken out before your tenure expires. So
Right.
you're just to keep the position. So it was still Donald Trump's administrative pick on the job. So he had all the reason to keep it from coming out while he was there under Biden.
But you know who absolutely does know who's on the list?
Bongo? Bingo bongo?
I would say Patel and
Oh,
Acosta
Blondie?
and
Oh,
Acosta,
Oh,
who
absolutely.
did that sweetheart deal and specifically crossed off names just to give Epstein that sweetheart deal. So he
All
knew
the
the
way in
names.
2008, and then he
So
was given a fantastic job first
that's right.
day Trump's in office. Thank you, sir.
Well, it was like a week later. Come on, let's not. He had to make it look. He had to make it look real, RC. Like, I had to wait a week. He had to give him
He
a
had
week.
a lot of other shitty things to do first.
That's true. That's true. So he had to do the Muslim ban, and he had to, do a bunch of the crazy shit. So, but yeah. So, folks, this is where we're at. The right is melting down. Do you guys feel sorry for the right?
Like, what do you mean? The guy, dude. This is
Tell me,
insane.
Rom.
How many
Do you feel
pictures?
sorry?
You like? How many pictures can you possibly be in with somebody and say like that was your? He said this is your best friend. You know, he says he likes
Like,
hanging
very
out.
best
He
friend.
likes hanging out with him, and he likes to party like him, and he likes women on the younger side. And we,
Yikes.
all these things. The signs are all there. I mean, this is akin to when he said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue or whatever, and everyone would still love him. Again, these people are about 2 days from falling back in line. I just I don't buy it. Bongino, he might get fired. Cash Patel, he's not burning that bridge. She is he had,
Wall-eyed.
Cash Patel and Bongino probably sitting in their office. Remember they have an office together. And they're probably like, trying to concoct
Whoa. Bongino says Patel he's there longer than he is. He gets there at 6. He leaves at 7. Probably playing, Galaga
conspiracy.
shit like
They're
that.
conspiracy.
He's just getting back from hockey practice.
You said what?
He just came back from hockey practice.
Oh yeah,
Cash
absolutely.
Patel apparently spends far too much time at the rink.
Hockey rink, yes.
With his job.
Big hockey aficionado, Cash Patel.
But Dumb and Dumber are probably trying to come up with this big grand scheme, and Cash Patel probably backed.
What's crazy is that like there's an interview of him on Rogan like in 2023. He's like, the FBI has this list, blah blah blah. We're gonna release it day one, and then it's like right before the election. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna release the Epstein list, and then it like cuts to, like three, like 6 months like there.
Okay,
and
so
it's like
they're liars either
left.
way. There's liars either way, right? Because Pam Bondi, when she said, well, it's on my desk. The list is on my desk.
To review,
and they came out with their binders,
a list,
all of this. So they created this own spectacle. This isn't like
they didn't.
This isn't far left.
Joe Biden did.
When was the last time
Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama created this list?
Like honestly, like Democrats have like, of course we think that there's something like of course there's something nefarious, right? There's obviously more to the story. Do we think that Trump and Pam Bondi are going to be the arbiters of truth and show the world what's really in there? No, they're the ones that are covering it up.
Well, I mean,
they're
Donald
creating their own
Trump,
conspiracy.
Donald Trump, as all of his voters say, he tells it how it is, but he's also just joking. So you have to take it. This is their voter base.
He either lied to you then or he lied to you now. Well, you take your pick.
No, I love Trump because Trump tells it how it is. Well, he said something that's very racist. Well, he was just
you
joking.
Can't take those tweets literally.
You can't take it serious.
Testament's really
you can't take it serious. You can't take it serious.
Well, he likes running through teenage locker rooms. Right?
You can't take that serious. You can't take that shit serious.
He likes grabbing women by the locker room talk.
You can't take it serious, Ron.
That's locker room talk.
Right, it's locker room talk. You even been in a locker room talking about rape, like we all have, clearly.
Yeah. If you're not sharing those kind of stories of assault, are you really a man?
Are you really in a locker room? That's the real question. Are you really even in? Are you probably in some sort of powder room?
Could be. Country clubs have locker rooms.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But so we will continue to watch this meltdown of the right. It has been scrumptious to watch. I have no sympathy for these people. And again, I think since this this information got dropped, like 3 more Christian Southern Baptist pastors have came out, and other Republican folks who are elected officials have been found with like child porn. So like it's a birds of a feather.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna play a real quick clip because it's a little transition because I don't know. Ice Barbie.
It's a soccer crowd. He's not the same as an MMA crowd. That's not just his jam. That's not his group. They might maybe be a little more informed and a little less bootlicky.
Now, from what I understand, this was at a FIFA finals, right, today?
Yes.
So what I'm gathering is that these people who were sounds like cheering just at a different decibel are a bunch of wokers. Is that right? Is that right?
Where was it?
Is that why they?
Where were they at?
Is it New Jersey? Where's it something like that? Where was that?
That sounds right.
MetLife Stadium, which is in
East Rutherford,
New Jersey. Yeah.
Or no?
It's New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. Different.
I mean, clearly, all my sports knowledge.
Them, everyone loves them everywhere, right? Like,
I'm a sports guy. This is now a sports podcast. Oh, we're in it. We're in the 90th minute. Here we go. We're in it, y'all. Sports, MetLife Stadium. I knew that. Document that shit.
Very nicely done.
I do what I can. But anyway, so Trump's thin-veiled or thin-skinned. How do you think he took that? And we had melanoma next to him, right? She probably came down from New York. She doesn't live with him.
I Ice Barbie in there too.
Oh, was that Ice Ice Barbie or was that Melanoma?
No, they were both in there.
Okay, you can't really tell,
Yeah.
Like
He probably turned to one of them and said, "I want a list of everyone in here."
that's true. I want to know. Let me see their tweets. Let me see their social media. Let me see.
Mom, they're booing me.
Ask the moms. That's right. How dare they? But yeah, so Trump, and I think, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. We've said that at least 100 times today. But
Well,
I
you know,
do I do have my questions about the election. I think I have a healthy, incredulity for the results of the election. The whole taking all the swing states and blah blah blah. Some of the things, but like this man can't go anywhere where there's people who do not like listen to Leonard Skinner on repeat that will actively accept him. So like the idea that everybody was just like, we love Trump and like he can't do anything without like take that off the media. The reporters can't ask those questions. Don't ask that question. We got to sue 60 Minutes for interviewing Kamala Harris. Like they have to try to create what I keep saying, the singular narrative that everybody loves Donald Trump. And I love that the people are like, you know what? If we all gonna go out in this bitch, fuck you, Donald Trump. And like I'm an American. It is my First Amendment right to be able to critique and criticize Donald Trump or this government and the presidency. You want fealty from the citizens, and that is not freedom. And yeah, so I love that people are like, they're flexing their First Amendment right. What do y'all think?
the man that hates sanctuary cities
Yeah.
needs more safe spaces than anybody else.
Mm,
Right?
that's a bar.
Absolutely. I mean, look at this dude. Like you said, thin skin. It's like this guy's like inside out boy. He ain't got no skin. It is
Mm.
all on the outside. This
Or he's like Bubble Boy. Like he just needs to
that's
be the
right.
bubble of Fox
One
News,
tiny little
OANN.
term, take him out. And that means one
Just
tiny little boo crushes the ego.
oh, just how dare they? Are these the Patriots? The Patriots on January 6th. They love me. I don't care if they have guns. Let them through the magnetometers. It's that level of like I need to be surrounded by people who only love me. But this is what we've been saying for years that it is the emperor that has no clothes. And he's honestly through his addled, melted pumpkin brain out of his ears and his hair that looks like spun sugar and he's sinking into his suits that don't fit right and his extra long ties and his foundation. Again, Trump is in drag. I keep trying to remind people that Robert Burns and all these people who are against drag. You vote for the biggest drag queen president. He wears heels. He wears what's that shit? The girdle. He wears suits that don't fit right. He has makeup on.
Lifts in his shoes.
Listen to his
He
shoes.
has white hair one day.
He does his fucking hair up like a pomade. Like that's someone in
like
drag.
spun sugar. That's what it looks like.
Spun sugar. Like that's I always called it spun sugar. That's what his hair looks like. And but hey, this is the upside down world that we're in, folks.
Upside down.
He is dancing around. Yeah, Emperor has no clothes. He's been dancing around naked.
Oh,
everyone's like, "You look great, sir."
we got here.
You got Musk telling him to release the files too. You had Michael Flynn. I don't know if y'all saw that, but Michael Flynn's also,
I did not know. What's
Michael,
it? Because that's the whole QAnon, right?
Yeah, Michael Flynn's
right.
also not happy. So he's I don't know where I saw it, but he tweeted too. He says this is gonna tear us apart. How can we move forward when you're not like uncovering the dark elites and
the dark elites?
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh shoot.
Been a couple times tearing us apart.
You know what's crazy? It's like you guys got rid of all the people who were quote unquote woke DEI people. So who was the one like not doing the things that they want to do? Like when they talk about the elites, like you're the president of the United States and that's your administration. These are all right wing sickos and sycophants. Like who is so you tell me that you left and placed all the woke people over the Epstein files? Like what?
Who's left?
Who's like we're gonna leave all the wokers to be over like FEMA and they're not gonna respond to Texas because they're woke and it's not Chrissy Noem's fault. We left them in charge of that and we're gonna leave all the wokers over the Epstein files because they're on there. Like the logic doesn't logic. But what I say last episode, stop using so much damn logic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they have psychological tests for the FBI and purity tests for the FBI, but everyone who passed it is total woke.
Yeah, yes. I mean, what's wrong with these people?
Yeah. So a couple more stories before we wrap up. Trump and Rosie O'Donnell feud. How about that? I'm gonna just go straight to the clip and
Yeah, I mean, if I would piggyback that right off of Tom Homan saying that he's just going to straight racially profile.
In an
These are
attempt to
people who
wield
are
his
doing
executive
right.
power to
things
settle a
left
personal
and right.
score, President Donald Trump took to Truth Social over the weekend, threatening to revoke the citizenship of American-born comedian Rosie O'Donnell, reigniting a nearly 20-year-old feud. In a post, Trump said O'Donnell is not in the best interest of the country, saying, quote, "I am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America."
hold on. If a threat to humanity can get somebody booted, then I feel like we should be the first one to go. I don't think Rosie O'Donnell has any kind of power whatsoever to be a threat to humanity.
Dude, she's more than a threat to domestic security or national security. She's a threat to humanity, like the plague, like an asteroid. Like she is a threat. She's like rising temperatures of the earth. She is an existential threat to humanity. And when we talk about how much of a BIBI Donald Trump is,
Oh,
it's like soft,
skin.
soft,
Softer than Charmin.
softer than baby shit.
Soft.
Like, damn, bro. Like they hung Barack Obama in effigy and burned that shit in front of the White House. Like
this is their king.
Rosie
This is their
O'Donnell,
king. This is their king.
But like, look at the retweets and the likes.
This is your king.
62,000 people like this shit. They're like, yes, Trump.
I'm sure it's more than that. This is your king. Oh man.
The threat comes a week after O'Donnell took to TikTok criticizing Trump's cuts to the National Weather Service in the midst of the deadly Texas floods that have killed over 100 people. In response, O'Donnell took to her own social media saying, "You want to revoke my citizenship? Go ahead and try. King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan. I'm not yours to silence. I never was." Sunday, O'Donnell told Ireland's RTE she's not worried, but
the Supreme Court has given him unbridled powers, and who knows what he can and can't do. This guy is a danger to the world.
Yeah. No, if he's a danger to the world, you're a danger to humanity. It's the whole
to the universe, Rosie.
You.
This is why he's upset. Like one of the he's carrying a grudge. So
because the View gets really good ratings,
you know, dancing, whatever. And so he held a press conference to announce whether or not she was going to retain her crown. Yeah. And then she started to cry. She did. Going, "I just want to thank Donald for giving me a second chance."
It was brilliant.
And there he is, hair looping, going, everyone deserves a second chance. And I'm going to give her a second chance.
Her hair is perfect for that.
You don't fuck with comedians, man. Don't fuck with comedians.
Yeah.
Can we see Donald Trump getting roasted by Barack Obama at the White House Correspondents'
That was
Dinner?
the moment. That was the moment. We all talk about it. That's the moment that Donald Trump sat there brooding like.
And have you seen the Stephen Colbert recreation of it in cartoon form?
No.
All right, check that out. Maybe we'll talk about it next episode because it's like, and it's done so well. And the rage comes up and the fires. And
okay.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen this. Yeah, because that's absolutely a villain origin story.
Correct. That's square one, and everything precipitates from there.
But on a more serious note about this, he's gonna try to edge in here with Rosie O'Donnell, who honestly she doesn't give a shit about Donald Trump. She's a much better person than Donald Trump. She's a funnier person than Donald Trump. She has an actual soul and someone who loves to smile and seems to enjoy life. I mean, Donald Trump eats like he doesn't even enjoy food, right? Like he eats shit. It's like you must not even enjoy the flavor of food and how food makes you feel better as I eat the steak well done with ketchup and the burger. It's like what the fuck?
Doesn't laugh.
Doesn't
never
laugh.
I mean, those two things.
He's a
qualifying.
he's a sociopath, and I think we have to be honest about that. And this is why his base are also sociopathic. And it's hard for a lot of us to kind of get to that point because some of us who are not MAGA folks, that might be our dads, that might be our neighbors, that might be our coworkers, and it's like, no, there's no way my dad's a sociopath.
Yeah.
But as I try to remind people, as I try to remind people, everybody wasn't in the SS. Everybody wasn't in the Confederacy. There were people back home that were praying for them, sending them money, baking them pies, and cheering on the rhetoric and their good wishes.
Sociopaths or sociopaths are subservient.
Yeah, I mean, but this is how the whole thing works together. It's not just, yeah, if Donald Trump alone was the threat, we could knock him out. But it's Donald Trump, it's the podcast, it's the media echo chambers, it's the Fox News, it's the OANNs, it's the lower level politicians, it's the
money,
Mayor Burns of it all, it's the financiers, it's all that is the structure that we're trying to fight. And Donald Trump is just the face for the less the less the less inclined folks who they just want to see the kayfabe, right? Which is in wrestling, it's like Hulk Hogan versus the Undertaker, and in reality, like they're good friends backstage. But like Trump gives them that, and I've been saying for a long time, what Trump offers America is the intersection between WrestleMania and real life,
entertainment.
And that's what he gives us.
P.T. Barnum, right there.
Like valuetainment, as Patrick Bet-David show is called.
So Tom Homan said a few things to say. Before I get into those, though, he was heckled.
Get a hearing within 40 days, 90% lose their case, they get sent home. That is not what they wanted. They're playing the long game. Let's release them in the community. Wait 3 or 5 years. Pardon me?
Are you an MS-13 member?
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
I got a picture.
I got a question.
No. I got a question for you. Why don't you come up here and hand me that picture? Bring it.
Oh, don't lose yourself.
USA. Sir, he hasn't got the balls to be a Border Patrol agent. This guy lives in his mother's basement. The only thing that surprises me, you don't have purple hair and a nose ring. Get out of here, you loser.
Get out of here, you loser.
That guy could have been a sharpshooter. Purple hair, nose ring. Yeah,
Mr. Come with a face.
Sling Blade. Elmer Fudd and Sling Blade had a baby.
French fries.
You got Tom Homan.
Elmer Fudd.
Right.
And but anyways, he's they're talking about
Hold on, but that was also the same clip at the end where he did the Nazi salute. They're trying to say. Do you see that?
I missed that part.
Go back to that clip because is that his whole speech?
No, it's not.
It just like when he's waving goodbye. I don't know, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This has to be. We got to get that soundboard going, guys. We got to get the sound. We got to get the drop going because that'd be a great. Like this, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But if you view this, you guys let me know what you think. But it could be a leftist. It could be a leftist reach.
It's a not so secret handshake.
Until we fix this shit.
Good God. Wait, hold on.
Oh, this is it.
This is like a long time ago.
Okay.
The Pope continues to be alert. That's your birthday, Rom. No, it's from the same night, from that same speech because it was the red background. Or he does his wave, but it's edging on Elon Musk's dual Sig Heils.
Radical Roots, where we stir up conspiracy theories.
Shit. Look, I put it like this. I ain't been wrong about 98% of the shit I've been talking about.
It's true. It is true. It is true.
Look, if I'm wrong, folks in the chat or folks want to hit us up later, please correct me. But until then, I'm pretty decent about the shit I be talking about. I'm trying to add some flair with it. That's all. But yeah, Tom.
Not a lot of people know about this.
He can go straight to hell. But this is what these white nationalists want. They want this idea of if you only see yourself in the mold of destruction, all you can offer people is to rip away your own humanity and to rip away the humanity of others and the protection of others. And that's all they can offer people because they're weak. These are weak people. These are truly weak people. And if we get organized and fight back against these people, yes, at the ballot box, we can roll on these fools like the sea. We can break their political backs. And we have to, because look at these people. They need that type of USA, all symbolism, no substance. That's all they can offer people.
Somebody was asking me today. They were like, "So what do we do? I mean, like we can't really do anything between now and the midterms." I'm like,
"That is not right."
Prepare for the midterms. If that's all you think we can do, like you don't just go and vote and then that's it. You kind of have to have the conversations. You kind of have to get into those spaces. And you kind of have to stop biting your tongue.
That's right.
Well, Danielle Moody and
Jerry X Sexton.
Yes, they had a good episode today. That's I think it's worth watching. Help refill Mike up a little bit, but it was kind of very similar to what we were talking about last week. And I think a lot of it's just like the hoods are up, the facade is over. So now we know what's going on, and we work to build and game plan, knowing what we know now, right? So, the time for titty and just withering your way is kind of over. But go ahead.
The time for persuasion of these people is over.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be very honest. I mean, at least for me, I mean, I tell you my mom's birthday, and she's been, and I try to remind people when I was the chair, like the idea that like we got to start talking about politics in circles of people who are not used to talking about politics. And I remember a white lady was like, "Oh, I'm just, we're just not used to talking about politics like in my family or in my household." And I told her, I said, Black people are always talking about politics. Like always. And it may not be like, oh, candidate A and candidate B, but it's like these motherfucking cops. Because what are cops? Cops are law enforcement, which means someone passed a law and they're enforcing a law, which is politics. Or like, man, my goddamn job and they gonna let me get off. Well, that's politics too, because those corporations can lobby against your workers' rights and being able to stop you from being able to live your best life. Or like, man, goddamn doctor charging for these goddamn pills. Again, lobbying through the insurance corporations and being able to stop people from having access to healthcare. I mean, all that is politics.
Cumulative, absolutely.
And we're talking about it constantly because we are on the underbelly of the settler colonial project. So our whole lives are shaped around the laws that are being passed by these people who don't talk about politics. So to your point, RC, I 100% agree that you have to kind of get into the mud, not saying sit there all day and try to twist someone's arm into voting for Democrats, but at a certain point, we got to start applying pressure because these politicians do not just fall into office. I try to remind people that, like, we could blame Trump, blame Tom Tillis, blame Robert Burns. People use their solemn vote and give it their one vote, their voice to these people.
Yeah.
We got to be honest about that. So, like, we got to start applying pressure to those people too in our lives. I don't fuck with you, Jim. I'm sorry. What you mean, man? Like my neighbor across the street, he has an American flag in his garage, and like the part where the stars are is the Gadsden flag, the snake with the "Don't tread on me." Yeah. And it's like, and I'm like, dude, this country is literally shaped in your image. Who the fuck is treading on you? Like, when have white people been treaded on?
But they're
I don't get it.
They're okay with racial profiling and treading on everyone else.
What they want is the freedom, and I think Jerry Sexton talks about this, the freedom from freedom. They don't want to be able to have the more nuanced understanding of what a political dynamic is. They just want someone to fix it all. They don't like what's going on. When I turn on the television, I used to be able to see a white anchor, but now I got to see a gay black one like Don Lemon. When I turn on the new Mermaid movie, I see a black one. When I watch the new Captain America, I see a black one. I don't like this shit. And like I watch a Bud Light commercial, I see a trans person drinking it, and I don't like that shit. And Trump offers them, I will get you back your country, even though he has no will or power to be able to do that.
That's right.
So,
and like what you're saying, getting rid of culture, or basically not having any culture to fall back on. That's what like the MAGA hat does. That is what the laser focus and the myopic thinking does. It's like, your culture is super easy to understand, super digestible. It's not any second level thinking. No. Here you go. Your easy answers are right here, and I am the truth and the way and the light. I alone can fix it, because
there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He said, "You'll never have to vote again."
Mm-hmm.
They keep telling.
So yeah, Rockland. So two things real quick. Rockland County, I think there's a date on when they have to have that recount in. I think it's August or September, whatever it is. I think it could be very monumental in hindsight, because it could precipitate however many recounts. And then if you see widespread fraud, again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I play one on TV.
I am not a conspiracy theorist.
Right. So like that could be really big, and it could be pretty eye-opening in terms of election reform, because then you would have to have more security, and then maybe you won't have that many people standing outside the ballot box in the voting place. I don't know. Like, what do you think, Rob?
I think it's already gone. I think that ship has sailed. I don't think who's going to stop them? Like who's going to stop them?
Right.
Like, when they going to find out, and then what?
Who gonna
I
check
mean,
me, boo?
Yeah.
so if you do retroactive, that's just one more feather in the cap why people would be taking to the street.
I mean, next is going to be ICE, and they're
Look,
trying try to weed out folks
we
in the voting line.
We have full blown concentration camps, right? So I like, and people are still
detention centers,
like, and they're they want alligators, the snake, they want the worst of the worst. So I don't think and they don't care
compliment.
They don't care about who cares.
You're a snack. You're a snack.
Fair elections. What I don't think that people are going to take to the streets for fair election. I don't think there's anything that's really going to change anything. But that's just me.
I saw this quote that said, "We've been so indoctrinated that people don't even know how to revolt right."
Yeah, I mean.
I was like, damn. That's just real shit.
Everyone's will be like, well, like they're gonna find out that there was a election fraud, and they're like, well, we hit the vote out in 2026.
That's the problem. That's the problem with like liberalism, though. Liberalism gives you this idea that you can just, and this is why we have so many attorneys like that are in the Democratic Party. That it's just this idea that you could just argue your way out of this. That you could just give a better argument and then you will win. Yeah, litigate your way out of it. It's like, no, this is about power. And what does Frederick Douglass say? Power concedes nothing without demand. Never has and never will. So you can't just argue your way out of if you want power, you have to take it. And I'm not saying like violently, but we got to get organized and be like, hey, we are not going to allow this to happen. I love to see the resistance people are applying in the streets and saying, we will not allow this to happen on our watch. We've learned too much from civics class and social studies when we were kids growing up. And they said this would happen during the Holocaust. This would happen during Jim Crow. This would happen during enslavement. This would happen during the Japanese internment camp. This is what happened, yada, 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 hell, jingle bell. And people are like, you know what? It's been a few months and I'm not going to take this anymore.
To that point, like you have to have people like yourself, like us, who can consolidate, extrapolate, regurgitate, and make it maybe a little more digestible and understandable for people who aren't swimming in the deep end all the time. And I would say that one of my patron saints of democracy is he left a cryptic message on his last podcast. Keith Olbermann has been on summer break for like a week and a half.
How dare he? How dare he?
What he left me with, because there's no good time to take a break.
No.
But he said that he will be coming back with plans on some way to reach a broader audience. So I think he's actually going to be coming back to TV. I think that, this man could take over the whole Democratic stratosphere within a matter of weeks because he is that powerful of a voice. I love the man. I
hear you, RC. I hear you, man. But the Democratic stratosphere, they just invested, was it $20 million in their Project Sam, speaking with American men, trying to get back white men. So they're not trying to invest in Keith Olbermann. They're trying to get back Chad and Brett at the gas station and at the auto repair shop.
Olbermann loves having enemies. He revels in it, and he has a history, and he has a Rolodex. The
Democrats know better.
Yeah, he don't give a shit. He's gonna bring you the truth, man. I
remind you, Mamdani won white men in New York, and
no, fuck that. No, not that way. No, not that way, Rom. Not that way. They don't want to win them that way. Don't win them with like changing, offering material conditions. No. Just like the more racist shit. Yeah, like could we be more transphobic and more homophobic and sexist? Can we do that? Because was it Andrew Schultz? He recently came out saying like people are hitting me up like, look at your boy. Do we have that? I don't think you haven't seen that shit. Have you seen that, RC?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's sitting there on his podcast with the three other assholes. I don't know what it's about. It's a chud and three assholes. And he's sitting there. He's like, people are hitting me up like, yo, look at your boy. And he's sitting there kind of all aghast and and you can tell he's taking arrows from all up.
This is not what I voted for.
Yeah, and he kind of leans into this. And it's like, this is absolutely what you voted for. And we have to not let these people off the hook. The Joe Rogans of can you believe that they're kidnapped? Yes, fool. We've been saying this.
I platformed him. Absolutely. I didn't say a word about him because
I endorsed him.
He was on my side for IVF. I didn't ask him the hard-hitting questions. I didn't feel that was my place.
No.
Because I had 9 viewers and they're all very impressionable, and a lot of them went to the ballot box for the first time in eons. Not my fault.
Come on. I'm just people are mad at me that this is what your boy. And it's like, but dude, yes, you have to own it. This, as I said earlier, these politicians do not just fall into office. It is a intricate system that is very interwoven with many layers, that is well funded, that is organized, and it is excused and is normalized. Oh yeah, is this it?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the one, but like this one seems interesting too because
Talking about Jeffrey Epstein, we have Texas, we have this, we have
This
all
is like
of the
too.
things
This is
that-
like after
and,
the mind
people
cult.
start talking about this guy, this creep.
So we're stupid. Yeah. we're the
Yes,
fucking idiots,
yes.
guys. That is, I
Yes.
think, what is
You're literally
enraging
wearing
people right now
tinfoil hats.
is it's insulting our intelligence. Like, obviously, the intelligence community is trying to cover it up. Obviously, the Trump administration is trying to cover up. Something changed because they ran on this idea of exposing it all. All these guys had great ideas. Cockeyed Cash, Dan
Son, he
Bongino.
had clips, dog. He had bars.
He was ready to tear it all down. He was ready to tear down the entire FBI office.
Shut down the Hoover building day one.
Day one.
That
Day
bitch
one.
still standing.
And then he goes on Joe Rogan and he's like, listen, do you think if I had it, I wouldn't share it with you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I do believe that,
do.
100%. Especially when you're
No,
yes,
it's,
telling me that.
You try to find the other clip where he's like, it's been everywhere. We're like, I mean, like Hollywood Unlocked, Shade Room. Like a lot of folks have been like, Andrew Scholes, who was all into Trump, is now turning his back on Donald Trump. But like, it is a case study in these people who we can absolutely not let off the hook. And Charlemagne, who I know is a friend of the show, Charlemagne is sitting there always trying to like, well, Andrew's just saying, he's speaking his truth. Like, no, dude, fascism is not a difference of opinion. It is a vehicle for power and domination over the more vulnerable people, and it consolidates power in the hands of a few. So like the idea of we had to stop this, like, well, it's just that's your vote is your no. These people were, yes, they were lied to, but also they were seeking out those lies. And when they found people like Andrew Scholes, who might I remind you all before no, this is after the election, he said the reason I voted for Trump because Trump fucks. He's got multiple baby mama. Kamala doesn't fuck. Now, mind you, what did the right do against Kamala Harris? They were basically calling her a slut the entire time. Oh, who was she sleeping with? It was the guy. I forget the mayor in San Francisco.
BJ to the top or whatever.
Yeah, all that. So this whole like, oh, he fucks. Well, according to y'all, she fucks. So like that is
Right.
it is not that. It was not that. It is not that. But it was their unity in sexism, their unity in patriarchy.
And these people do not fall out of love with the movement, right? So
Right.
Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith are
Theo
all,
Vaughn.
yeah, I think they have a real affinity to the cause. So they're just like, we got to keep this thing going, man. Like, what are you doing? Screwing it up.
Let's get this clip here.
You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Yeah.
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back.
What?
People that like they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy.
So, how do y'all take this message?
They literally said what he was gonna. He said that. I mean, he told them like. I mean, they were saying, "Oh, he's just saying that. He's just joking." Like that's what they say. He's just joking. He just said that. Like, oh, he doesn't know what Project 2025 is. Like,
he has project. What was it? Project 47 or some stupid shit like that. They're trying to act like that was his real project. Like it was all, but that shit was bad too.
No, they're just getting rid of the. They're just getting rid of the worst of the worst, the criminals, and so yeah, I just want to show this clip of Tom Homan before we leave because I mean they're basically
Well, hold on, but before we get that, what do y'all think about folks like the Andrew Scholes specifically after that clip of him acting? So now he's going to react in public like this because they're seeing the changing of the people getting thrown in cages and kids getting their heads slammed on the ground.
I think that these guys are
alligator
actually,
Alcatraz.
I think these guys are actually ignorant. Like they don't
ignorant of what?
They don't have to. They feel like they don't need to actually dig beneath the surface. They think they know better. They're arrogant. They're ignorant, and so they literally think what they want to think, but they don't actually take into account the reality, the history, what people are actually telling them.
They don't need to.
What Black, brown, marginalized groups are telling them because they don't have to, right? I was
going to say, Small Circles Club, proud member of the Small Circles Club.
So, what's your take on Marcy?
like, what are they doing having this much power in the first place? That's my question. And then the way that they wield it is exactly in line with their acumen. They're not here to ask the hard-hitting questions. They're not here to dig deep and reach higher heights. That is not their MO. Their MO is getting dollars and being total bros.
They're entertainers.
Good at that.
Yeah, they're entertainers and they're slaves to the dollar. They don't really actually care at the end of the day. And
Trump fucks. Don't forget that. Trump fucks.
I heard his interview with the New York Times. He's like, well, it was said in jest as part of a longer, screed about ethic? You know, like as a qualifier for nothing.
Narcissistic behavior. Again, we're witnessing patterns of narcissistic behavior where you're always the truth teller, but you're always joking, and you're always the hero, but you're always the victim. This is constant centering. And this is why I'm able to slide the scales of understanding it on the social level, but also understanding on a more interpersonal level. And we could just see these traits and why people. I have an uncle. I know me and Ron talk about we don't got people in our family, but my mom was telling me today how I have an uncle who is very MAGA, and I was like, yeah, Uncle Donnie's a piece of shit. But he hasn't worked since his 20s, and he's been dependent on his wife, and he's about to turn 65. So like, this is someone who has broken his wife's back by having her, do all this shit, but all his kids are indoctrinated into Christian evangelicalism, and it's all this shit. I'm like, it's Trump. That's why he's a Trumper. It makes sense because he sees himself in that. How Trump grabs him by the pussy. He can disregard women. He can walk into the Miss Teen pageant dressing room. That's all the shit he wants to do. That's all the shit that he did.
I don't.
It's aspirational.
Yeah, I don't know how much more they need to see to realize that Trump's a piece of shit. Like, you've supported.
But they're pieces of shit. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like a 1-for-1.
They love to see it.
And like to your point earlier, Ron, the idea that like these people don't need to know that shit, that's literally the definition of privilege. If you don't have to know the terrible things that are going on in society because they will not affect you, that is literally privilege. Literally, that's a privilege that you don't have to. What do you mean, cops? You have to worry about the cops getting behind you? Not having that have that conversation with your son, who I've already had that conversation with Ethan, and he's not even old enough to drive yet. Or if he ever sees the cops get behind me, or our daddy's may shift, or I might white knuckle it on the steering wheel, is a privilege to not know why we have to have that conversation. To not understand when I walk into a job interview, or when I walk into a grocery store or a bank or any of these institutions that predated my life, that I have to worry, I hope this motherfucker ain't racist. So that's a privilege for Andrew Schultz to not know that shit and to just only care about the singular thing of lower taxes, or he did want to get the immigrants out. And just after saying all this shit, you're like, this is what I do like, alligator Alcatraz. And
that was really confusing, right? That was your exculpatory phrase right there. Like, what?
Yeah. I was like, okay, guy.
And when did they become fiscal hawks? It's just like,
Never.
You don't know anything about finance or the debt stealing, and do you care?
No. I've never cared about the debt. And most people in the country do not care about the debt. You know, care about the debt, the Republican Party, because they use it as a cudgel during election season because it sounds right. But if you understand and they always add more to it. But historically, if you understand what our country, how our economic base is set up, our country was built on debt. We use debt to leverage to pay for the things and investments in military and infrastructure. And we use our debt. So even and Joe Scarborough, who I hate with every bone in my body, when I did used to watch him, he would say stuff like, when I was in Congress in the 90s under Bill Clinton, we actually balanced the budget. That's actually a very bad sign for the American economy, because what follows soon after that? A recession, because it is not how our economy is set up. It is a debt-based society. It is a debt-based economy, I should say. So like this shit of these right-wingers who are trying to say that they care about the economy, dude, go fly a kite.
Well,
so what's the time?
I was trying to tell these people and say, well, they're gonna get only the bad criminals and the violent criminals, and we say, well, one, that's not true. Two, you're gonna be racially profiling people. But in this clip, he basically says
no, just the brown ones.
Got to get your reaction to this Biden-appointed federal judge out in Los Angeles, apparently expected today to issue a temporary restraining order halting your lawful operations. She says, I think it's important for the court not to burden otherwise lawful law enforcement activities. Your reaction there?
Look, people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them. They just need the totality of the circumstances, right? They just got through the observation.
National stop and frisk.
So What is he talking about? You don't need probable cause to detain someone? Detain? What is he talking about? Let me detain your motherfucking ass. What is he talking about?
So much wrong in one sentence.
Constitution
Right?
be damned.
Get articulable facts based on their location, their occupation, their physical appearance, their actions. Like a uniformed border station walks up to them at for instance, a Home Depot. And they got all these articulable facts, plus the person walks away or runs away. Agents are trained.
Runs away from the man with the gun.
Detain somebody temporarily and question them. It's not probable cause, it's reasonable suspicions. We're trained on that. Every agent, every 6 months, get Fourth Amendment training over and over again. These officers are really good at what they do. And if this judge is making a decision that's against what these officers are trained, what the law is based upon, then they're going to shut down operation. I think that's your end game. They want ICE to stop doing this, but if they base it on the rule of law, they're going to find out Border Patrol and ICE is doing exactly what they're going to do in accordance with law.
Okay, Marble Mouth. Listen, I think we said this before this podcast, and I stand by it because it's going to happen. Payron isn't causing this to happen. It's going to happen. There will be more violence against ICE agents. I think there was a report that there's sad ICE agents, and they're peeing, they're crying in their cornflakes and shit like that, and they're peeing in their pants, and it's up 700%. And I'm like, you know what, Americans, we can do better. We can do better than 700%.
They're also supposedly defecting in numbers never seen before. It's like
never seen before. We have the best defections.
I would love to have anybody on the show that has defected from ICE.
Oh God, yeah.
Recently defected from ICE. Please contact Radical Roots Podcast. You know what I mean?
And we'll let you keep your face covered. Like, fuck it. At this point, it's like I just want to hear about the stupid shit you fucking did. At this point,
please.
But what I think is so interesting about the ICE agents and why we should get behind people resisting these people. If you've watched this show or listened to this show and during any length of time where I talk about law enforcement or the military, I am not a fan of either of those organizations. But police officers and military officers or military enlisted people have to swear an oath to the Constitution. We know who they are. We know their names. We can find them in the database. That is something we do. These people do not swear an oath to the Constitution. We don't know who they are. So the idea that you must comply with people who don't even swear an oath to the Constitution to uphold it and protect your rights is ludicrous. So I tell all of us who are listening, absolutely resist these people. We don't know who they are. And the idea that they're like, you can't do that. I'm a federal agent. Prove it.
Yeah. Just trust me.
Because if not, you will end up just like in Minnesota where someone dressed up like a cop with a mask, dressed up with a mask, and killed people execution style. So no, you do not have to sit here and it just proves how restrained these migrants are. And some of these are American citizens, these Latino people and folks from Africa and folks from the Caribbean who are not whooping ass. But let me tell you something. Y'all gonna catch hell. Y'all gonna catch hell. I'm talking about the ICE agents and this whole organization because again, you do not swear oaths to the Constitution. We do not know who you are, and there's a long trail of folks out there who are doing nefarious shit, who have their faces covered like the Klan.
And in terms of retribution and accountability, in police circles, they have their own protective covenants.
That's right.
In military, they have tribunals that are outside of the traditional,
It's a gang. It's a gang.
Right, and they're like, we will fix it from within, and then they're back on the street or they're shuffled over to somewhere else, and that never seems like real accountability. And unless you're one of the families of the aggrieved or whatever, you never keep on it because you just assume that you're helpless to be able to change that type of system. And those are the people who do identify themselves, who are in the database with a record. So now you've got vigilante justice, and you're telling me that they're going to be held to a standard at all? I don't believe that.
Yeah, well, they won't be in power forever, these people. So they'll get what's coming to them. But
you gotta think,
start ripping the mask.
Yeah, I be commenting that shit all the time. Like, rip their fucking mask off. But what's happening? I think was one of the catalysts for these people quitting in mass, or however, I don't know how much people are leaving, is that like they're realizing what they're doing. They're like, you know what? Like, I signed up to catch the illegals, to catch the bad hombres, as Trump called them the first go around. But I'm in schools.
I'm storing a cul-de-sac.
I'm at Home Depot. I'm grabbing a grandma.
Yeah,
that has to fuck with your psyche.
Yeah, you gotta live with
that has to mess with you, man. You know what I mean? Like, so again, I hope it continues to eat it down. And there it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this to close this out if it's cool with you guys.
Yeah.
But if you were using undocumented immigrants' tax records to find and kidnap them, then it was never about paying taxes. If you are showing up at their place of employment, then it was never about them not working. If you were showing up at the courthouses, then it was never about them doing it, getting them to do it the right way. If you were kidnapping women and children, then it was never about criminals. If you're refusing them due process, then it was never about the Constitution. If you are building concentration camps in Florida to keep them here in cages, then it was never about the border. If you're spending billions to do this, then it was never about the economy. And if you're doing this in the name of a 34-time convicted felon, then it was never about following the law. So,
ooh, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my neck.
or can we turn that into a song?
Yes, we can turn that into some sort of jingle. Like if you're at a Home Depot or using their tax records, it wasn't about
never about the law.
Well, folks, thank you for listening. And if you made it this far, please like, share, and subscribe. We got to get better at that. Good God. On the front end of the show, please on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and everywhere to find us. And we are trying to build this out to a more cohesive and comprehensive conversation with folks that just want to get into the know and understand it from our perspective. We're not going to give you any spin. We are three political sickos, but at the same time, we know what we're talking about and we care. So please make sure you're sharing this with your friends. Make sure you're sharing this with your loved ones. Make sure you're listening to it a couple times your damn self, because this is how we grow this thing. And yeah, any final words, guys?
I got nothing. I'm ready.
Like, share, subscribe. I second that, man. Or you know what? Get 3 different podcast platforms on your phone and subscribe to that. Shoot those numbers up.
Please become a bot farm. I'm your co-host, Peyron Baxter.
I'm your co-host, Ram Sandoval.
And I'm Ron Kabuna.
And we will see you next time.
Peace.